My girlfriend's family tried to destroy my life with false grooming accusations. Instead of breaking, I hit them with everything I had and made them pay for it. I designed manufacturing processes for industrial ceramics, not the decorative kind you put in bathrooms, but the ultra-high performance materials that go inside jet engines and life-saving medical equipment. It's detail work, precision. You measure twice, calculate 3 times, and you don't fool around with variables you can't control. That mindset probably saved my life. I'm 34. I own a small house outside the city, drive a paid-off truck, and until 3 weeks ago, I had a girlfriend named Ravina. We'd been together 3 years. She's 29, works as a geotechnical surveyor, spends her days analyzing soil samples and ground stability for construction projects. Smart woman, independent. We talked about buying a bigger place together, maybe getting a dog. 6 months ago, her father, Clifford, came to me with a problem. He owns a small commercial printing business, the kind that does bulk orders for corporate brochures and event materials. One of his main presses died, and he needed $18,000 to replace it or the whole operation would collapse. He asked if I could loan him the money. I didn't just hand it over. I'm not stupid. We drew up a proper agreement. $18,000 principal, 3% interest. $600 monthly payments over 3 years. He signed it. His wife Dorothy witnessed it. Ravina told me I was being too formal about it, but I insisted. Good thing I did. Clifford made the first 5 payments on time. Then they started coming late. Then they stopped. By the time this all went down, he'd paid back $3,000 total. Still owed $15,000 plus interest. I'd asked about it twice. Kept it casual. Ravina said they were figuring it out and asked me to be patient. I was patient. Then came Tuesday. I got home from work around 6:30 p.m., grabbed a beer, sat down to check my phone, and that's when my life tried to detonate. 17 messages, all in the span of 20 minutes. Dorothy, I can't believe we trusted you. Stay away from my daughter. Hugh, Ravina's brother, you're disgusting. We know what you did. Some cousin I'd met twice. Predator. And then Ravina, don't contact me again. My family knows everything. I read them twice. Didn't understand. Called Ravina, she answered on the 4th ring. What's going on? I asked. Her voice came through cold, flat. You groomed me. You targeted me when I was vulnerable. My family knows everything now. We're going to the police. Groomed you? Ravina? What the hell are you talking about? You know what you did? I literally don't. We met at Colton's barbecue 3 years ago. You asked for my number, we started dating like normal adults. I was too young to see it then. You manipulated everything. There was something wrong with her tone. No crying, no anger, just reading from a script. Ravina, this is insane. Explain what I supposedly. She hung up. 10 seconds later, you called. You have a lot of nerve. He started, voice shaking with what I initially thought was rage. You think you can just Hugh? I have no idea what's happening. Your sister just accused me of something I didn't do and won't explain. She doesn't owe you an explanation. You piece of crap. We have evidence. We're protecting her now. If you contact her again, we're filing a police report. Evidence of what? You know what? I genuinely don't. Stay away from her. He hung up. I sat there for 5 minutes just processing. Then something clicked. The loan, the stalled payments, the sudden coordinated accusation from the entire family. This wasn't about protecting Ravina. This was about the money. I opened my laptop and started working. 3 years of text messages with Ravina, downloaded, organized by date, every photo we'd taken together, all with metadata, timestamps, emails, shared calendar history showing trips she'd planned, bank statements showing the loan agreement and payment history, screenshots of social media posts where she talked about our relationship publicly, happily. I worked through the night, didn't eat, didn't sleep, just documented. By 6 a.m., I had a folder containing 847 pages of evidence. Every message where she initiated plans, every photo proving we met when she was 26, well into adulthood, every piece of financial documentation showing equal partnership, not control, and the loan paperwork signed, dated, unpaid. At 9 a.m., I walked into the office of Howard Caldwell, attorney at law. I slid the folder across his desk. They're trying to destroy me. I said, I need you to destroy them first. Howard Caldwell was in his mid-50s, gray at the temples with the kind of face that didn't waste energy on expressions. He opened the folder and started reading. I sat there in silence for 20 minutes while he went through it. He didn't skim. He read every page like he was looking for cracks in a foundation. Finally, he looked up. Walk me through the loan, he said. I explained. Clifford's printing business, the equipment failure, the $18,000 loan with written terms, 5 payments made, then nothing. 2 months of radio silence before the accusation dropped. Caldwell nodded slowly in the relationship timeline. Met at a friend's barbecue 3 years ago. She was 26, I was 31. She asked for my number. We dated normally for 6 months before moving in together. No red flags, no control dynamics, nothing. Who initiated the relationship milestones? Moving in, shared expenses, future planning. I thought back. She suggested moving in together. I was fine staying separate, but she pushed for it. Joint bank account for shared bills was also her idea. She said it was easier than splitting everything manually. Vacations were usually her picking the destination. Caldwell made notes. Then he pulled out specific message threads from the folder. 2 months ago, he said, pointing to a screenshot, she writes, "We need to find a way to not pay him back." You responded asking if they wanted to restructure the payment plan. She never clarified. Ring any bells? It did now. At the time, I'd assumed she meant negotiating lower monthly payments. Now, it hit different. They were already planning this, I said. Not just planning, testing. She floated the idea. Saw if you'd push back hard. And when you offered flexibility, they knew you weren't the type to escalate. Caldwell leaned back. Problem is, they're not dealing with someone who rolls over. They're dealing with someone who documents. He flipped to another section. Location data from our shared calendar app showing trips, dates, events, all time-stamped, all showing mutual participation. This is better than most cases I see. Caldwell said. Usually it's he said, she said. You've got a paper trail that would make an accountant weep. They accused you of grooming, but every message shows equal or greater agency on her part. They claim you controlled her, but the financial records show split contributions. They say you targeted a vulnerable younger woman, but she was 26, an adult who initiated contact. So, what do? We file a civil lawsuit for defamation, harassment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. We include the loan repayment demand as part of the damages, and we do it before they try to escalate to criminal false reporting. They threaten to go to the police, but they haven't yet because they know they don't have a case. This is intimidation, not prosecution. They're hoping you'll panic, forgive the debt, and disappear. We're going to make sure that option is off the table permanently. He started drafting the filing right there. Explain the strategy, hit them with everything at once. Defamation for the false accusations. Harassment for the coordinated message campaign from multiple family members. Emotional distress for the calculated attempt to destroy my reputation. And the debt front and center showing motive. What about criminal charges? I asked. If they file a false police report, that's a separate criminal matter, but they haven't crossed that line yet. Right now, this is civil. We want to keep it there because civil court has a lower burden of proof and we control the narrative. 2 days later, we filed. Caldwell sent the lawsuit with a detailed cease and desist letter. Every family member who'd contacted me got named. Every message got cataloged as evidence. The filing was surgical. No emotion. Just facts and legal claims. I didn't tell anyone. Didn't post on social media. Didn't vent to friends. Radio silence. I went to work. Designed ceramic valve housings for a medical equipment manufacturer. Ran stress calculations. Came home to an empty house. Didn't miss Ravina. Didn't feel rage. Just cold certainty like I was watching a controlled demolition. Set the charges. Check the blast radius. Press the button. Day 6. After filing, I was at my desk reviewing thermal expansion coefficients when my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. 3 minutes later, Howard called. They got served an hour ago. He said, "Your phone's about to become a war zone. Don't answer. Forward everything to me." Understood. And OP. He paused. They just made their first mistake. Right on cue. My phone started buzzing. 15 missed calls in 10 minutes. Messages piling up faster than I could count. What mistake? I asked. They're panicking. Panicked people talk. And talking is how we bury them. The calls didn't stop for 3 days. Clifford, Dorothy, Hugh, Ravina, over and over. I let every single one go to voicemail. The messages were a mix of desperation and threat. Clifford's first voicemail was aggressive. "You're pathetic. Suing your girlfriend's family over money. This is going to blow up in your face." By the second day, Dorothy's tone shifted. "Please, we can work this out. Just talk to us. Drop the lawsuit and we'll figure out the payments." Hugh stayed consistent. "You're going to regret this. Everyone's going to know what kind of person you are." Ravina left 4 voicemails. The first 3 were angry. The 4th was her crying, saying she never wanted it to go this far and asking me to call her back. I forwarded every single one to Howard. Didn't respond to anything. The mutual friends started reaching out, too. Colton texted, "Bro, I'm hearing you're suing Ravina. What happened?" I wrote back, "You'll see. That's it. Come on, man. People are asking questions. Let them ask." Another friend, someone I'd known for years, sent a longer message about how legal action seems extreme for a breakup, and maybe I should think about whether this is really worth it. I didn't reply. 2 others just went cold. Stopped responding to messages entirely. I watched the friend count drop and felt nothing. Some doors close. That's fine. Week 2. Howard called with an update. Discovery phase. We've subpoenaed Ravina's phone records and messages. Also requested financial records from Clifford's business. How long until depositions? 3 weeks. But we got something interesting this morning. Their lawyer reached out. I waited. They want to settle. For what? Full debt forgiveness plus $5,000 to drop the suit. I actually laughed. Sharp. Humorless. No, good. Howard said. Because that offer tells me they know they're screwed. They wouldn't settle if they thought they could win. We proceed to depositions. The depositions were scheduled at Howard's office. He advised me not to attend Ravina in person. Watch via video link instead. Said my presence might derail her into an emotional breakdown before she could contradict herself on record. I watched from a conference room down the hall. Ravina sat across from Howard, her lawyer beside her. She looked thin, pale, rigid. Howard started gentle, asked about our relationship timeline, how we met, who initiated contact. She stuck to the script at first, said I'd pursued her aggressively at the barbecue. Howard pulled out the message history. These texts show you asking for his number first. You initiated the follow-up coffee date. Can you explain the discrepancy? She hesitated. I mean, he made me feel like I should. Made you feel, but did he ask you or did you ask him? Silence. Miss Ashford, I asked him. Howard moved to the next point. You claim you felt controlled in the relationship. Can you provide specific examples of decisions he made without your input? She listed vague feelings. He influenced where we lived, how we spent money, who suggested moving in together. Long pause. I did. Who managed the joint bank account? We both did. Who planned your vacations? Usually me. Her lawyer kept interrupting, but Howard kept pressing. By the end, her story had fractured in 6 different places. The timeline didn't match. The power dynamic she described contradicted the evidence. And when asked directly why her family coordinated a simultaneous message campaign, she went quiet. Hugh's deposition was worse. He contradicted Ravina's timeline 3 times in 20 minutes. Said he'd never personally witnessed anything inappropriate, just believed his sister. When Howard asked why they'd all contacted me at once, he stumbled. We were coordinating support for Ravina. Support or intimidation? Support. Howard leaned forward. Mr. Whitmore, did your family coordinate this accusation to avoid repaying the $15,000 debt? Hugh's lawyer objected immediately. Howard withdrew the question, but it was on the record now. The seed was planted. Week before trial, a certified letter arrived at my work. I opened it during lunch. Handwritten note on floral stationery. Please, we made a mistake. We were desperate. Drop this and we'll pay you back. I'm begging you. We're going to lose our home. Please have mercy. Dorothy. I read it twice. Scanned it with my phone. Emailed it to Howard with the subject line, Exhibit M. His reply came back in under a minute. Keep the original. We'll need it for trial. She just admitted guilt in writing. I sat at my desk holding a letter. For the first time since this started, something cracked inside. Not sympathy, just certainty. They chose this. Now they finish it. Trial day. Mid-sized courthouse downtown built in the 80s with that institutional beige and gray aesthetic that says justice is boring and bureaucratic. I arrived 15 minutes early wearing a clean navy suit. Howard met me in the lobby. We didn't talk much, just reviewed the order of evidence one more time. Ravina's family was already there. Clustered on the opposite side like they were afraid to spread out. Clifford looked like he'd aged 5 years, thinner, gray-faced, defeated posture. Dorothy kept dabbing at her eyes with a tissue even though she wasn't crying yet. Hugh stared at the floor, hands shoved deep in his pockets. Ravina wore a dark dress, hair pulled back. She looked at me once when I walked in. I didn't look away. She did. We filed into the courtroom. Judge Mary Ann Fenton presiding. Late 50s no-nonsense reputation according to Howard. She'd been a prosecutor before the bench. Didn't tolerate BS. Their lawyer went first. Younger guy, probably mid-30s, tried to paint me as vindictive. Said the lawsuit was retaliation for a relationship ending badly and that I was weaponizing the legal system to punish a young woman for leaving. He leaned hard on the age gap. 3 years may not seem significant, but combined with financial entanglement and power dynamics, it created an environment where Miss Ashford felt unable to advocate for herself. I watched the judge. Her expression didn't change. Howard's opening was different, quiet, precise. Your Honor, this case is not about a breakup. It's about a coordinated campaign of defamation designed to erase a legal debt through intimidation. The defendants will claim emotional harm and power imbalances. We will show you a paper trail of calculated deception. Every claim they've made collapses under the weight of their own messages, their own words, and their own financial motive. Then came the evidence. Howard walked through it methodically. No drama, just facts. Message history showing Ravina initiating first contact. Screenshots with timestamps proving she was 26 when we met, not younger. Photos from our relationship, her smiling at dinner she'd chosen. Trips she'd planned, events she'd organized. The loan agreement signed by Clifford. Witnessed by Dorothy. Payment schedule clearly outlined. Bank records showing 5 payments made. Then nothing. And then the messages from 2 months before the accusation. Ravina to her mother. We need to find a way to not pay him back. Judge Fenton asked to see that one herself. Read it silently. Looked up at Ravina. Miss Ashford, when you wrote, we need to find a way to not pay him back. What did you mean? Their lawyer objected. Your Honor, that message is being taken out of context. I'm asking your client to provide the context. Overruled. Ravina shifted in her seat. I just meant maybe we could negotiate a different payment plan. The terms were already negotiated. Monthly payments over 3 years. Both parties signed. What exactly were you hoping to renegotiate? Silence. Miss Ashford. I don't know. We were just stressed about money. Howard took over, started cross-examination. Miss Ashford. You claim you felt groomed and controlled in your relationship with my client. Yet, you independently planned vacations, managed shared finances, and made major career decisions on your own. Can you provide one specific example where he prevented you from making a choice? He influenced how I thought about things. Influence isn't prevention. Did he ever stop you from doing something you wanted to do? No. But. He moved to the next point. You and your family sent 17 messages to my client in the span of 20 minutes, all accusing him of serious misconduct. Who organized that? We were all just reacting independently, all at the exact same time with remarkably similar language. Her lawyer objected again. Judge Fenton allowed the question. Ravina's voice got smaller. We'd talked about it beforehand. Talked about what? About confronting him. About confronting him with accusations of grooming or about scaring him into dropping the debt. Objection. Sustained. Rephrase. Mr. Caldwell. Howard nodded. What was the goal of the coordinated confrontation? Ravina looked at her lawyer. Back to Howard. To protect myself. From what? She didn't answer. Howard let the silence hang. Then he pulled out the voicemails, played them in open court. Hugh's voice filled the room. Stay away from her or we're filing a police report. We have evidence. You're not getting away with this. Clifford's voice. Drop this lawsuit or everyone's going to know what you are. Judge Fenton's expression hardened. Howard paused the playback, turned to the evidence table, picked up Dorothy's handwritten letter, the one she'd sent to my office, held it up. Your Honor, I'd like to submit Exhibit M, a letter from Mrs. Dorothy Ashford sent to my client 1 week ago. He read it aloud. Every word, the begging, the admission of a mistake, the plea for mercy. The courtroom went dead silent. Their lawyer stood up fast. Your Honor, that letter was sent in an attempt to resolve this matter privately. It's a written statement from a defendant in an active lawsuit. Judge Fenton said, I'll allow it. Howard turned to Clifford, looked him dead in the eye. Mr. Ashford, what was the mistake your wife referred to in this letter? Clifford's face went gray. His lawyer whispered urgently in his ear. Mr. Ashford, I'm waiting. Clifford opened his mouth. Closed it. His hands trembled on the table. Mr. Ashford. And then he cracked. We thought if we scared him, he'd walk away from the debt. The courtroom froze. Even their lawyer looked stunned. Ravina's head snapped toward her father. Hugh grabbed Clifford's arm like he could physically stop the words from having been said. Judge Fenton leaned forward. Mr. Ashford. Are you stating that the accusations of grooming were fabricated? Clifford's composure shattered completely. Words started pouring out. We were drowning. The business was failing. We couldn't afford the payments. Ravina said if we all accused him together, made it serious enough, he'd be too scared to push the debt. He'd just go away. Ravina went white. Dad, stop talking. It was supposed to be a bluff. Clifford's voice cracked. We weren't actually going to the police. We just needed him to back off. Judge Fenton's expression turned to stone. But you were willing to destroy this man's reputation based on a false accusation of predatory behavior. Silence. Dorothy started crying. Not the delicate dabbing from earlier. Full body shaking sobs that echoed in the quiet courtroom. Their lawyer tried to salvage it. Your Honor, my client is under extreme stress and may be misstating. Your client just confessed to conspiracy to commit defamation under oath. Judge Fenton said, I suggest you let him finish. Howard didn't move. Just waited. The judge turned back to Clifford. How long did you plan this? 2 weeks. Clifford whispered. Maybe 3. We talked about different options. Ravina suggested the grooming angle because of the age gap. Thought it would sound believable. And the coordinated messages, we planned it. Dorothy, Hugh, Ravina, me sent them all at once to make it seem more serious, more real. Hugh dropped his head into his hands. Judge Fenton looked at Ravina. Miss Ashford, do you dispute your father's testimony? Ravina's lawyer started to answer for her, but the judge cut him off. I'm asking your client. Ravina's voice was barely audible. No. Speak up, please. No, I don't dispute it. So, you knowingly made false accusations against the plaintiff with the intent to coerce him into forgiving a legal debt. Long pause then. Yes. Howard finally spoke. Your Honor, I'd like to call a character witness. Colton took the stand. He looked uncomfortable, kept glancing at Ravina. But when Howard asked him direct questions, he answered honestly. Did Miss Ashford contact you before making these accusations? Yeah. About a week before, she asked if I'd ever seen him act controlling or weird around her. What did you say? I said, no, never. He was always respectful. Gave her space, treated her like an equal. How did she respond? Colton hesitated. She kept pushing, asked if I'd ever noticed him making decisions for her, or if he seemed possessive. I kept saying no because I never saw any of that. Eventually, she dropped it. Did you find it strange that she was asking at the time? I thought maybe she was just processing the relationship now. Yeah, she was fishing for something she could use. Howard thanked him. Colton stepped down, wouldn't look at anyone. Next came the financial records. Howard had Clifford's business records subpoenaed. Full accounting for the past year, the numbers were brutal. Revenue down 60%. Multiple creditors demanding payment. Foreclosure notices on the family home. The loan from me was the only thing keeping them afloat, and when they couldn't pay it back, they'd panicked. This wasn't desperation, Your Honor, Howard said. This was calculated fraud. They attempted to weaponize one of the most serious accusations a person can face, one that destroys careers, families, and lives to escape a legal debt they voluntarily incurred. He laid out the damages. Reputational harm, emotional distress, the coordinated harassment campaign, the attempted intimidation through threats of police involvement. They didn't just defame my client. They tried to terrorize him into silence. Judge Fenton called a 15-minute recess. I stepped outside into the hallway. Cold air from the AC hit my face. My hands were steady, heart rate normal. I felt nothing. Howard joined me. We've won. Question is how hard you want to hit them. I thought about the voicemails. The friends who'd dropped me without asking questions. The nights I'd stayed up wondering if they'd actually call the police, if I'd get arrested before the truth came out. Maximum, I said, everything the law allows. Howard nodded. Then we asked for the ceiling. Full damages, legal fees, punitive damages for malicious conduct. Public record notation detailing the false accusations. They wanted to bury you. We're going to bankrupt them. We walked back inside. Ravina's family looked like they'd been hollowed out. Dorothy was still crying quietly. Clifford stared at nothing. Hugh wouldn't lift his head. Ravina looked at me one more time. Her eyes were pleading. I looked away. Judge Fenton returned, sat down, reviewed her notes. I'm ready to deliver judgment. Judge Fenton didn't waste time. This court finds the defendants liable for defamation, harassment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The accusations were knowingly false, made with malicious intent, and designed to coerce the plaintiff into forfeiting a legal debt through intimidation and reputational destruction. I watched Clifford's shoulders slump. The court awards the plaintiff the following: full repayment of the outstanding loan amount, $15,000. Compensatory damages for reputational harm, $35,000. Punitive damages for malicious conduct, $50,000. Legal fees and court costs, $28,000. Total judgment, $128,000. Dorothy's quiet crying turned into a choke sob. Furthermore, this judgment will be entered into public record with a notation detailing the nature of the false accusations and the defendant's admission of fabrication. Payment is due in full within 90 days. If not satisfied, the plaintiff is authorized to pursue wage garnishment, property liens, and any other legal collection methods available. Judge Fenton looked directly at Ravina's family. What you did was not just unethical, it was cruel. You attempted to weaponize serious accusations for financial gain with complete disregard for the devastating impact false allegations have on victims. This court will not enable that behavior. Judgment is entered for the plaintiff. Gavel down. It was over. Outside, Howard shook my hand. Hell of a win. They'll probably file for bankruptcy, but judgments arising from willful and malicious conduct survive discharge. This follows them. I nodded. Didn't feel triumphant. Just finished. Their credit is destroyed, Howard continued. Public record means every background check, every loan application, every job search brings this up. Anyone who Googles their names finds the case. Good. The first email came 3 days later. Ravina, long rambling, said she made a terrible mistake and never wanted it to go this far. Talked about how much she loved me. How the pressure from her family had clouded her judgment. How she wished she could take it all back. I deleted it halfway through. Dorothy sent a handwritten letter a week later. Begged for mercy, asked if we could set up a payment plan over 5 years instead of 90 days. Said they were losing their home, that Clifford's business had already shut down, that they had nothing left. I forwarded it to Howard without comment. His response: they have 90 days per the court order. After that, We enforce collection. Hugh tried calling from different numbers. I blocked each one without listening to the voicemails. Clifford sent a message through a mutual business contact, someone who supplied materials to both our industries, asked for a meeting to work things out like reasonable people. Howard sent the response. All communication must go through legal counsel. The judgment stands. 90 days came and went. No payment. Howard initiated wage garnishment on all three of them. Property liens on what property they had left. Ravina's paycheck got garnished. Hugh's too. Clifford had no wages to garnish. The printing business was gone, but the lien on his house meant they couldn't sell without satisfying the judgment first. The house went into foreclosure 4 months later. They declared bankruptcy. But Howard was right. Judgments from willful and malicious conduct don't disappear in bankruptcy. The debt restructured but didn't vanish. They'd be paying it off in pieces for years. I never posted about any of it publicly. Didn't need to. The court case was searchable online. Public record. Anyone who Googled their names found it. Full details, their admission of fabrication, the judgment amount, everything. Some of the friends who'd gone cold reached out quietly after finding the case records. A few apologized. I accepted some apologies. Others I ignored. Colton sent a text. I should have trusted you from the start. I'm sorry. I wrote back. You believed what you were told. No hard feelings. But I didn't rebuild that friendship. Some doors stay closed. 6 months after judgment, I was sitting in my house. Same house, same job, same life. When Ravina sent a friend request on social media, I didn't block it, just left it sitting there. Ending. Ignored. Small reminder that I don't think about her at all. The money from the judgment sits in an investment account. I don't touch it. Don't need it. It's not about the money. Never was. It's about the fact that their names are permanently linked to a public record of fraud and malicious defamation. Every job application gets flagged. Every background check shows it. Every time someone Googles them, there it is. They tried to destroy my reputation to escape consequences. I gave them consequences they'll never escape. People ask sometimes if I regret going so hard, if I feel bad about the financial devastation. I don't. They chose to weaponize an accusation that ruins lives. Not as a last resort, as a first move. They coordinated, planned, and executed it with cold calculation. They made me the villain in a story they invented so they wouldn't have to pay back money they borrowed. I just made sure the truth had teeth. They thought they could scare me into silence. Instead, I gave them a legal record they'll carry forever. No apology accepted. No mercy given. Just consequences permanent, documented, and entirely deserved. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.